welcome to Invest with Her Club, real talk, real conversation. With, of course, Denise Armstrong. I am a business coach, real estate investor, and I am your purpose coach, and I am here to help you live the life that you dreamed of. So, I have two special guests with me today. Let me introduce you, beautiful ladies. Y'all beautiful. You
Thank
look so
you.
good today. I have Miss London Charday with me. She's a former model. Her love for makeup and beauty has been a part of her life. And after graduating from Valencia College School of Business and Management, she decided to pursue a career as a makeup artist. As you can see, if you guys are taking a look at my makeup today, she hooked the girl up. Yes, she's so amazing, so amazing. She's
Thank you.
also an esthetician and a freelance makeup artist, and she's had the pleasure of working with Clinique and MAC Cosmetics as well as other large beauty brands. So thank you for being on the show
Thank you for having
today,
me.
Miss Sade. I also have Miss Tammy Wilson. She's a single mom and a widow of three girls. She's been working with the Duval school systems and also exploring entrepreneurship. That's what I'm talking about, girl. Entrepreneurship. She also has a double master's degree. She's been in business for herself with over 15 years of experience. So I'm loving that. So we
Yeah.
got all bosses at the table today.
Yeah, of
That's what
course.
I'm talking about. So, of course, with Invest with Her Club, Real Talk, Real Conversations, listen, we want to get to the nitty gritty today. We want to have real conversations, real talk. There's a lot of different shows out there, and I don't feel like I feel like it's kind of surface. And I feel like in the world we live in today, we kind of need to have like real conversations. We really need to talk about life and the real challenges that we go through. So today, this episode, we're going to be talking about the truths about everything with life. How it is being a boss, mom boss, how it is being in love, how it is being commitment. So I want you guys to talk a little bit about some of the struggles that you have being a boss in this industry right now. How does it feel being a mom boss? I know for me, being a mom is one of the things that I feel like I hold up to the highest standard,
Mhm.
but it's also having to separate being a boss, being a wife, being a mom. Sometimes I'm trying to find the balance of it all, but that's hard. Tell
Mhm.
me about you guys. Is it hard for you to find the balance of it all, being a
Definitely.
mom?
Mom guilt for me. Being
Yeah,
away from my kids. Like I know I'm doing it for them, but
yeah.
they always like they're at that age where they still want my time.
Mhm.
You
Tell me
know?
about that. Tell me that. My son is always pulling on me, and I'm just like, listen, I'm right there between. I have to get some things taken care of because the thing is, I want to change the life for my family. I know that I'm a generational curse breaker, but
Mhm.
I'm also in a season where like I'm in mommy mode, where I kind of want to really be present with them. And then I'm in that torn between trying not to feel bad for spending so much time away from them, but also trying to find that balance of spending that time with them and making sure because that time is valuable. They're like they grow up so fast.
And this was
Yeah.
when we spend the most time with them.
Yeah. And see, for me, it's all about that balance. I started my entrepreneurship when my oldest son, he's now 11, but when he was 1 years old. And I've
Mm,
always been in the corporate world. And
yeah.
before I left my last job in corporate, I was a mortgage loan officer and I worked so many
Mm,
hours. And I was like, I don't want to do this and
yeah.
miss out on him, growing up. So I made the decision to become an entrepreneur because I wanted that freedom. But I
Hmm.
didn't know when you're an entrepreneur, it's more hours. So
Mhm.
for me, the first few years, I did have to find that balance.
Yeah.
And then so now I just have to say, okay, I have to set boundaries with my clients because,
Hmm.
what I do, it takes a lot of my weekends. So it's like,
Yeah.
okay, listen, I might work, two weddings, 2 weekends,
Mm,
but those other weekends, I'm gonna just designate that time for us to do something fun, is what my
yeah.
kids call it.
Yeah.
So you really just have to find that balance
I
and
agree. I
just,
agree.
you know,
I agree. Do you guys think that the society kind of sets like unfair expectations on moms than
Oh,
they
oh,
do
definitely.
with
absolutely.
dads?
Absolutely.
Definitely.
Well, first of all, a lot of us were raised from single mothers.
Yeah.
I was raised from a single mother,
Mm,
and I talk about this all the time because when you are a child being raised from a single mom,
yeah.
we're looking at our moms as, they're our heroes, they're independent, they're strong, they're
Yeah.
black, they could do anything, they
Yeah.
could take on the world.
Yeah.
And that's because they had to. So we're looking
Mhm.
at that. And of course, as little girls, we want to be like that. But
Right.
it's not, it shouldn't be that way. It should be a balance and it should be a order.
Right.
So we do have that, that that thing in society, like, oh, you have to be everything. And no, we don't. We have
No.
to be there for ourselves, because if we
Hmm.
struggling, if we stress, if we're upset, we're gonna feed that off into our kids. And
Right.
now we screaming, we yelling, we hollering, and we gotta be like, hold
Exactly.
on, let's we doing a little bit too much yelling, what's really
Exactly.
going on. And.
Exactly. I think for me, you guys, it's the choosing between feeling like you can only do like one or the other great. And I'm like, no,
Mm-mm.
I can be a great, amazing present mom, and then I can still be a boss and I can still
Mhm.
run my business and I can still, be the great wife,
Mhm.
that I feel like God has called me to be.
Yeah.
Do you tell me about the balance between like the love life and trying to balance, like adding that in because that's a whole nother aspect as well.
Oh yeah,
Ooh,
that's
So
hard.
it's like,
child.
That's
yeah,
definitely hard because you're sharing the time with the kids too.
Yeah.
And you have to have the
yeah,
energy. That's my battle.
mhm,
Is having the energy to do the work, to work
mhm,
my business, to have the mom time, and then still be a very present,
yeah,
and have that energy that they're looking for.
yeah,
They want our good sense in our core too. So
right,
giving that energy to everybody can be a little demanding sometimes.
yeah.
But caffeine's my friend.
Yeah.
Caffrey, I think honestly, you guys, because this is real talk, this is real conversation, this is real life. Sometimes it can be like a little bit overwhelming because my anxiety sometimes can be like through the roof.
Mhm.
I don't know about you guys, but I'm
Oh
like,
yeah.
Mhm.
am I sometimes like life in the world, especially like social media now,
Mhm.
it'll almost make you,
Feel like you're not doing enough.
yeah, like you're
Oh
Mhm.
not
yeah.
doing enough.
Yeah. Yeah.
How do you think social media kind of plays into that?
Well, social media, like you
What do
said,
you
like
guys?
and that's why it's so important to take breaks from social media, or just to find that balance. Like, okay, I'm only going to
Mm,
spend so much time on it, because social media will really have you feeling like everybody has this perfect life and we're just horrible, and we're
yeah,
horrible moms and things like that. But really, social media for me, you have to use it for what it is.
yeah,
Like, you have to use it for the networking and the entertainment from time, but do it
hmm,
in moderation. Because if not, you just think like,
yeah,
I'm the only one that's going through this. But when you have these type of platforms,
hmm,
you can see like, oh shoot, I'm not the only one. Okay,
right,
I was just fussing at, Ash the other day,
yeah,
and I thought I was horrible, but shoot,
yeah,
everybody,
right,
you know.
I love social media, honestly. I built a community in it and
Hmm.
have a
okay,
sisterhood that I lean on. I just met someone yesterday. She's like, "Oh my God, I been seeing you
yeah,
on Facebook," and
Yeah,
I
that's
just
true.
yeah,
left church, and she was like, "You're so beautiful in person, and
yes,
I've been watching your babies grow." And it's
oh,
those
Hmm.
moments where I'm okay with being vulnerable, sharing.
hmm,
Because I've experienced grief. But I was married for 10 years and we
yeah,
lost my kid's dad suddenly. And so
mm,
sharing that, people actually poured into me and was like, "Hey,
yeah,
it's being a mom and you want to be the superhero, it's hard to accept help,
Yes.
mm, yeah,
That's a
and
whole nother conversation. That's a whole nother
but
conversation.
it's allowed me to like flourish in a sense, and I feel better because I know I'm empowering other women. It should be just
hmm,
enough to fill my cup, but
yeah,
it feels good to know that I'm having a positive impact, and they're like, "Girl, I
hmm,
saw you go through that, and you still up and bumping and doing things and running your business. That
yeah,
motivates me." I have zero excuse. I'm like,
yeah,
"Girl, I have to tell you, this is what I tell myself, but I'm
yeah,
saying it to y'all on."
Yeah,
yeah,
that's true.
But that's what I leverage it for, and I stay in
okay,
front of people. I don't even got anybody number.
right.
Right.
I love that. Um, let's see. Something else I want to kind of talk to you guys about is that showing the children the boundaries and how to be able to have the expectation for yourself but actually also be present. So I'm in a season where it's like, how do I, of course, balance it all? I balance, being a mom, I balance being a boss, but I'm also trying to show my children what that looks like to actually like
Mhm,
live through situations. Can
mhm.
you guys tell me about any kind of experience that maybe you recently had that that you feel like you may, because sometimes like how I was raised, like everybody tried to keep everything from the kids. You know what
Oh
I
yeah.
mean?
Do as I say, not as I do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't
And I'm
explain
like,
it.
I feel like that really set us back and it definitely set me back
Yeah.
because I'm like, well, how do you get through emotions of life? How do you get through circumstances? How do you get through problems? It's like, how do you even balance it all? You know what I
Hmm.
mean? My mom, I'm like, okay, I see you being present. I see you, you work. My mom worked really hard, but then she also, was trying to, be a great wife as well, but then trying to have that balance of still having her career,
Hmm.
and I really don't feel like like she explained that to me. I was just
Mhm.
trying to guess, I was just like, it just seems like she's doing everything, but it was like I didn't see the vulnerability that I
Mhm.
wish that I had seen to actually know that you go through real life and how
Mhm.
do you still go through those moments in life and still keep it going. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Well, for me, okay, so m- I experienced a divorce in 2021. Well, I left a relationship in
Yeah. Okay.
2021 and started that divorce process.
Okay.
And for me, I had to pick myself up. And at the time, I had a
Mm,
1 year old. I think Chloe was one, BJ was like three, and my oldest son was like seven.
mm,
So, I found myself, angry and lashing out and
yeah.
hurt. And then I had to say, you know what? I have to be better for them. And,
Mhm.
I sought therapy, of course, going to church, getting my spiritual,
Yeah.
fix with God. And once I started really pouring into myself and healing, I started having
Mhm.
conversations with my kids, and I teach my
Mhm.
kids about emotional intelligence.
Mm,
My now
yeah.
6 year old,
Important.
he can say, Mommy, I'm angry. Well, BJ, why are you angry? I'm
I
angry
love
because
that.
of this. And I talk to them like that.
Yeah.
Tell me what's wrong. How was your day? Or what happened? Why did you feel that way? If they do
Mhm.
something that, normally we would have got whooped
Mm.
for, in trouble
Yeah.
for, what were you thinking when you did that, son? Well, I thought that like I changed their way of how I interact with them from how we was raised because we
Mhm.
got
Yeah.
whooped first and that was just it.
Right. There was
Yeah.
no explaining. There was
It
no
wasn't
trying
no
to do. Wasn't
explaining.
no finding out why and
Now,
all those
because
things.
my son is 6 and he doesn't I do have those conversations with him. Now we're working through the talking back
Yeah.
because he
Mhm.
feel like he
That's
has to
the other part.
explain
Right. Yeah.
himself,
Yes.
which I'm like, yes, you're explaining yourself,
That's
but
so
when mommy
funny.
says be quiet, I need you
Right.
to hush, please, because now So we're working
Yeah.
through that, but honestly, just unlearning what we experienced, the unlearn and relearn in a more healthier way, in a way that's
Mm.
not going to set our kids back generations. Because like I said, we already for me personally, like I said, I had to deal with realizing the way I was raised in a single mother household. That's not
Mhm.
God's order. It's God, it's your husband, and it's the wife.
Mm.
And I didn't get to see my mom soft.
Mhm.
I didn't get to see her as a wife. I didn't
Yeah.
get to see
That's
her
true.
um I didn't get to see her, or I didn't get to see a father figure either,
Mhm.
and how he's a provider, and how he
Mhm.
sets the tone for his family, and how he's the leader, and the wife, she just manages everything. I didn't get a chance to see
Mhm.
that. So I had to learn through experience. So I want to teach
Mhm.
my kids now. And I am
I like
dating,
that. I love that.
and I'm in a healthy
Yeah.
relationship, and like I told my partner, I told him, I said, I am a generational curse breaker. Like that is
Right.
my
Yes.
assignment from
Yes.
God.
Yes.
And I have to show my children. Unfortunately, me and their father didn't work out, and that's okay.
Mhm.
Life
Right.
happens.
Right.
But I have to still show them, and I have to show them with my next husband.
Right.
So we rocking or we not. Because
Right.
if you on board, let's do it. But if not, it's okay. So we just
Mm.
have to show them.
So speaking of that, so of course, we talked about parenting, balancing all, being a boss, being a mom boss, but it's like you said some key things, like going into that soft life as a
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
woman, because I'm just like, I feel like I've actually been working since I was like 14 years old,
Mm-hmm.
working, going to school, playing sports, taking care of bills, taking care of things. I feel like I've been so responsible for so long. And I feel like as women, like I say, that's what we see growing up. So that's what
Mm-hmm.
we think. It's very seldom, at least in the African American culture, you don't
Mhm.
really get to see your mom, Black women really get to be soft,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm in that season where I want to be just that soft woman, be able to pull back a little bit so I can be the nurturer that my kids need,
Mm-hmm.
and then be the soft wife, and just be supportive and let
Mm-hmm.
my husband just continue to take the lead. But like going through that transition, like how do you guys feel like that transition is in your life into going into like commitment in your love life as far as that balance? I know you touched on it a
Mm-hmm.
little bit, but maybe you can talk about it, like just trying to tap into that softness as a woman, but still like maintaining that, because it's like I'm a boss
A
because that's
little
just who I
independent.
am. Yeah,
Yeah.
Right.
because
Yeah.
I'm like that's just who I am. But then it's like also it's like I want women to know that it's okay to grow and it's
Mhm.
okay to evolve in different parts of you. That looks different in different seasons. You know
Mhm.
what I mean? And I'm knowing that I see myself going into such a different season. And
Yeah.
I'm like, as women, we have to allow ourselves to grow into that. It's not something, it's a learned behavior that we have to
Mhm.
learn
Mhm.
because, of course, no one taught us. But what does that transition looks like for you? Like, what steps are you taking, or how do you feel with that? Because I know both of you guys have great men. So how is that bringing that into, still keeping it boss,
Mhm.
but you
Well, it's a
know,
reflection. I feel like I joke with my significant other now too. I'm like, hey, I don't wanna have to think that hard. I don't
right,
want
Mhm.
to like I've transferred it into an appreciation
mm,
because I've carried the torch because I had
yeah,
to,
right,
not because I want to. So now I appreciate you so much. Let me take your shoes off again
yeah,
every day. And it's the little things like taking off his shoes
mhm.
and he opens my doors like where it helps
Serving each other,
Mhm.
remind me
yeah,
daily to be in a soft setting
yeah,
and just thinking about like, okay, so do you want to do this? Like talking to myself, and we all do. I'm like, Tammy, is this what we want to do? Do
right,
we want to be the strong? Do we
right,
want to?
Mm-mm.
No, we tired. We
Right.
right.
just
You said
Yeah.
something. We
Tired.
tired, right? Are
Tired.
we
tired.
tired?
I'm
Like
Yes.
tired, sis.
no.
Auntie tired.
Yeah.
You know what? I think
So
we
I
don't
look at it.
get that no
I've
more.
I've changed my perception of it, so that way I can
Mhm.
change the lens, and it's a relief to not have to
Mhm.
do those things.
Yeah.
For me,
No,
well,
go ahead.
for me, okay, when I was in my single season,
Mhm.
um, I really just poured into me. I felt like for me,
Mhm.
that was the time. Like I said, I was in therapy. Well, I still go to therapy regularly
Yeah.
for maintenance, and I go to church, and I just found
Mhm.
my like I grew up in the church and everything, but it's like I found like God on another level in this season
Mhm.
of my singleness. And, I had to just love myself, and you have to be whole by yourself. So
You
many
Yeah.
of
gotta
us
be comfortable with your
don't
own
want to
self.
be
Gotta be
whole
comfortable.
by yourself. And
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm by myself. I have to love
Yeah.
myself. I have to like myself. I have to want
Right.
to be around
Right.
myself. I would take myself
Right.
out, on single dates, or just
Right.
journal, or just do things that poured into me and made me feel whole. So when I got, when me and my man met, and he can sense that wholeness, and he was whole. A lot of
That's a
times we
difference.
find relationships where we depend on the other person to make us happy,
Mhm.
Yeah.
but you have to depend on yourself to make you
Right.
happy. So I think that was the start of my soft girl
Mhm.
era. And it's like I had created a lifestyle for me where I didn't work hard. If I didn't
Mhm.
want to do it, I said no.
No. Yeah.
I found the balance, and I set my boundaries with everyone. So when we did
Mhm.
meet, I was like, hey baby, I done created this. I call it
Yeah.
soft life housewife.
I
That's
love
that's what
that.
I call
We,
it.
we we literally
I
joked about
created
this at
that.
breakfast.
Yes,
I
like
feel
Yes.
I
like we
yeah, like two
created the
years ago,
soft
I
life for us.
created
You
Yes.
this for
know,
me.
summer's off.
You're
I'm
not
like,
Right.
you're not
Right.
gonna
I,
come here and make me work hard, sir. Those working hard, I said
Say I'm done with that.
my
yeah.
superhero cape is in the
Say
closet
that's gone.
somewhere. That girl is no longer here. Like I done created this
Yes.
soft life for me. And so
Mm.
whoever I'm with, we gotta you have to make it better.
Right.
And so,
Right.
that's
So is that one of
that's
the
what did
advice you would give to some of our listeners is that like we have before you even pursue the relationship, it's
yeah.
like learning how to take that cape off
Yeah.
hmm
before.
Oh yeah,
Absolutely.
You know what I
absolutely. You
mean?
gotta you gotta be okay with you. Like I
Yeah.
tell people all the time, like I'm so good with me. I had to make myself start going
Yeah.
outside.
Yes.
Yes.
Because the internet is really good because I
Yeah.
can do everything. I can interact with people and do have my
Yes.
community from the house.
Yeah.
But
Mm.
how do we grow and network if we're at home?
Mhm.
Right.
So it was like, okay, we're a little too comfortable. But I've
Yeah.
Yeah.
traveled alone. I recommend everybody do this.
Mhm.
Travel alone.
Yeah.
Like traveling alone, I've taken myself out to eat, done the breakfasts. Me and my
Traveling.
kids sit poolside literally every
Right.
summer. I make sure I save up whatever I'm doing. I might do a little business here and there, but June
Yeah.
and July is when we're
Just
home,
relaxing.
Mhm.
and I've created that. So now when you come in, like you know, it's
Right. I
it's
think
a
yeah,
softer season.
learning how to love on yourself.
Yes.
Yeah,
Because
learning
I know what to do. If I have a bad day, I don't have to tap into my partner to make me happy.
Mm-hmm.
Give me a
Exactly.
minute. I need to go do
I
what
need to take a
I
moment.
go to the
Yeah,
gym,
do something else
go running,
until
like
I get over it, because if not, I'm gonna have
Mm-hmm.
that too.
blast my music.
That's our
Like I
code
have to be
word.
able to fix myself. I don't
Yeah,
need you to be able to do it
Mm-mm.
for me. That's toxic.
yeah,
That's our code word. Give me a minute.
Yeah.
Or
yeah,
I need a minute.
yeah,
Because sometimes, he needs a minute.
yeah.
Men, they need a minute
We
as
deal with a
well.
lot.
They
Because
deal with
like
a
I
Black
just,
lot.
men deal with a
yeah,
lot.
They
Like
deal with a lot. And, but
yeah.
he had experienced, some toxic women. So
Mhm.
he thinks I'm gonna yell and scream. Baby, I don't yell.
So we're not doing that.
What is that? No,
Yeah,
we're gonna talk to each other. But see, that's what he's used to. So
yeah,
even with me, he's unlearning that toxic and, healing through me as well. So
yeah.
it's just a beautiful thing. But I definitely recommend, before you jump into a relationship with anybody, just to feel
Mhm.
that wholeness. Like you
Yeah,
said, if you having a bad moment, know how to shift your
share
energy,
that.
whether it's, taking a minute to pray or go outside
a
or
playlist.
Yeah,
We
playlist
right.
we like, what's
music,
on the playlist, sis?
dance, so
And
Yes,
accountability partners. I
I
think
love
what's
that.
part of what's made this journey easier is
Mhm.
we're friends and we hold each other accountable. Okay,
mhm.
well, friend,
Yeah.
that's you. That's a
Mhm.
we need to because
On
when you're
Yes.
used to toxic, normal feels weird.
Oof, say that again, girl.
You know what I'm
Yes,
saying?
it does.
It
You
feels
want to say
weird. It's
that?
like, oh, okay, well, I'm supposed to be a little bit more submissive. I'm supposed to lean into that. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I love that. So we can just say that we're on the move to breaking those generational curses. So everything that you guys have said
absolutely.
today is talking about breaking generational curses, because you
Hmm.
and the unlearning, you know what I mean, and giving yourself that cushion, and loving on yourself, and all those things are like so necessary
Mhm.
in
Hmm.
order to even be fulfilled. In your career, being a mom and being in love, because we deserve that soft life.
Yes, we
Hmm.
do.
We
You
do.
deserve to be loved on the greatest scale. And you deserve to be able to be happy and to be free. Yeah. So thank you guys for coming on
Thank you
today.
for
Thank you
having
Thanks for
so
me.
having
much.
me.
Before we get out of here, London, I want you to be able to talk a little bit about your business, because when I
Okay.
tell you, I absolutely love my face. And I think this is all a part of self-care, you guys. You
It
have
is.
to know how to love on yourself. And I think getting dressed up, getting cute, getting your makeup done, getting your face done is so important. So tell us where we can find you at, because she is actually one of the sponsors of today's show, you guys, and I appreciate her so much. So tell us a little bit before we get
Yes.
out of here.
Well, thank you for having me. I
Yeah,
really appreciate you. I just love your energy. Since
yeah,
I met you
yeah,
in person last
yeah.
year, I just knew that I wanted to connect with you. And I definitely believe in divine connections, divine
Mhm,
timing. So when we, started,
mhm.
like linking up, I was like,
Yeah,
yes, God, I love her energy. So I'm grateful for you, first of
yeah,
all. So thanks for bringing us
yeah.
together. But my name is London Sade. I'm here in Jacksonville, Florida. I am located downtown Jacksonville. So I'm in the
Mhm.
center of everything. I literally created this business at first just to be a present mom and just to be
Mhm.
able to, be available for my kids. But God has really turned this into a ministry for me.
Yeah,
And I literally am people's therapist. Like I've had clients to say, I pay you to do my makeup and feel
yeah,
pretty, but I pay you to talk to you
yeah,
because, I am very transparent and the things that I go through, I will tell you the honest
yeah,
truth, the raw truth, because if what I went through can save you or can
yeah.
help you make a better decision about your life, that's what God has called me to do.
I
So
love
this is
that.
literally turned into my ministry, and I absolutely love what I do. My specialty is makeup. I do a lot of bridal. I love bridal. So if you
Clap
are
it up.
newly engaged, if you got a
Okay,
man,
girl.
come see me. I
Okay.
will love to service you, and I service all nationalities, all colors.
Mhm.
And yeah, I would just love to connect
I
and serve
love it.
you.
All right, you guys. Well, thank you so much,
Yeah.
ladies. I love it. And we are out of here. Real life, real conversation. Like, we're those people. It's like if you ain't
Mhm.
got it, sis, I'm here for you. But
Right.
then those takers also know that, oh, if I do this, oh, they just gonna do it because that's who they are. I
Mhm.
had someone tell me, oh, well, Trey, that's just who you are. I said, well,
Wow.
why didn't you purposely use me? Oh, I'm the friend that could